Hey, everybody.
Oh,
Hi.
hi, we're live. Hi, everybody. How are you? Oh, my goodness. Yeah, I did it again and just cut everything really short. Just got home and ate something really fast and ran up here. So, how's everybody?
Doing great.
Good.
I'm
Great.
You?
I'm good, but I'm tired.
Oh, yeah. Hey, your top of your head's cut off, Jackie. You have to tilt something.
Hmm. It's
Tilt
funny
a
because
little.
my frame is showing.
You've got, you only have a forehead.
That's weird because in my frame it shows me full.
There. Oh, yeah.
There we go.
Now I
Is
see
that
Andy.
better?
A touch better, yeah. Yeah, it's
That's
fine.
so weird.
It's fine. What's on your t-shirt? Is that something we can show?
Yeah, it says Simply Southern.
Oh, okay, we're good.
That's all it says.
Oh, good. Oh my goodness. So, a little round table or to the audience, we have medium. We're hoping that this medium that's so good and a paranormal investigator, Janine, is going to join us. So we've sent her a link. So we're hoping that she'll come in and join us and talk about. She's got sensational stories about the shadow people in the cemetery. I've done a lot of investigations and ghost tours, and she does do ghost tours also. And so I can't wait for all these great stories that they have. They told me some. I went to Alpine Cemetery with them in Southern California, and they had a really incredible story, her and her partner Chris. And so I'm hoping Janine will come on and just tell us some of these happenings that she's experienced in the cemeteries, especially the shadow people, because um, I go my cemetery that's the closest to me is where they see a lot of them. And I've been there, but I'm not over to that side. It's a real creepy side to the cemetery. They actually have big iron gate that you can't get through because there's like a pond there, and it's always full of, you know, critters that are making noises and stuff. So I don't tend to go over that far, but we should have a shadow person type of meetup to go look at this and see what we see. But anyway, we're hoping that she's coming on tonight. That'd be really cool. Um, so announcements, we have gotten our book approved, and I think Andy has a graphic on the book to show the audience. um, um, Andy, do you want to talk a little bit about, what the book's about?
Yeah. So, oh, I can hear myself. Um,
Something's wrong. Well, the book is called The Little Book of Big Evil, and we went around and we actually got some true stories of people that have had encounters with dark entities, and we put them in the book along with a little bit about the entities. We did some research, we talked to people, we've had our own experiences, and we went ahead and did get all of that down in the different chapters, and then the stories are in there and at the end. It's pretty interesting. Andy, I'm going to tell him about that time where we had a sketch and I went looking for the Gumby. So we had sketches made of what people saw, okay, and what we saw. And so we've had these. And I wanted to get something more on what we call a Gumby, which is a can be a short and then can get bigger, dark entity. And so I go, gee, how do I go look at that? Well, I did find a reference to one by the name of Gumby online. And then I decided I would hit images. And what I saw, I just about fell off the chair. And I immediately contacted Andy and said, everything's real. because they're on Google in the images. I found, I think it was Portugal. Some artists in Portugal had literally, uh, sketched almost identical all the characters that we were writing about. And I was like, oh my gosh. And also on an episode of what is it? The Dead Files.
Yeah.
I was watching it when Amy, picked up the paper and showed the picture of a Scrabbly, and she didn't know what it was. And I go, I know what it is. And so, there's confirmation and validity that there's something going on that's not just seen here, but other parts of the United States and throughout the world, because the people are drawing the pictures of these things. So, Andy, you can go ahead and what do you feel about? You want to tell everyone about our book?
Well, what I found interesting was, just regular people throughout the country, really, because we did ask and advertise to see if people could share their stories of the paranormal, of dark entities, anything that wasn't just like a ghost story, but more into things that scratch and bite and bruise, and even send text messages through your cell phone. I mean, there was just a variety of things, and we were able to. It took some time to gather these stories and respect the people that want. Some people wanted their names changed, for privacy, which is totally understandable. Um, but it's all real. It's all true. And I mean, we have stories about the shadow people, demonic entities, Gumbies,
The Hag.
the Hag.
My
Yeah,
story.
yeah. Debbie's got a story on that. I have my own personal experience with that as well. And then also we have, um, uh, I'm trying to think here at the top of my head. We had Scrabblies, which um, those are. I haven't personally seen one myself, but I know Debbie has. So she can walk into a room and see them. So
Yeah, it was the
yeah,
Dead Files that Amy said that these things were attached to the walls and the ceiling. I had never watched that show. It just kind of came on, and it came on right at that time, and that's is all meant to be. And I was like, just like riveted. I'm like, yes, you're right, you're right. And then when she showed the picture, I go, yeah, because
yeah,
they're very odd. Their energy that hangs around grief or pain or tragic circumstances energy, and they kind of just feed off of it. There's non-sentient. They don't have a thinking mind or anything, but nonetheless they kind of hang there and they bring that energy down. And so she went into this house, and I guess in one room was just they were just filled full of them. What gets me is she really is a fearless, because to go in and have them all surround you and be everywhere. And they're so creepy looking, with anything from like a jellyfish tentacles to crab like. That's got to be really, kind of scary to see all that stuff, and you've never seen it before. So, and they did get the picture pretty real, right, as to, the artist's conception that was drawn. And so, yeah, that's in our book because a lot of people do see these. And that was one of the things that I found on the internet. And I was like, that's crazy. It just makes things a little bit more real. You work with it yourself, you work with somebody else that sees them or whatever, you talk about them, and then to really find out in the world that everybody's seeing them, and actually drawing pictures and everything is just like, it makes it even more real. And you know and knowing that we have to take, contend with these things, especially when you get a Gumby. You get a small Gumby, and that's when you go and you see the people that get scratched on the paranormal investigation, shows. They get scratched or they can get bitten. They've got teeth, but they can get bigger, and they're pretty much non-sentient, but they can take orders, and they can get bigger and mount up and be almost a form of that Gumby creature, cartoon creature that we used to see. And so they can get stronger. Okay. And that's when people have to, really be careful, because they can, physically hurt you. So, yeah, we have some interesting things in our book, and what, people have seen. We actually have a lot of images in our book, don't we,
Hmm.
Andy?
Yeah, we do. I found it interesting also, when you mentioned that the Gumby takes orders. What I've found, not just and I've learned a lot as well, but what I've found within the spiritual community is that, or just in general, people just say it's a demon, or it's, and it generalize the whole thing, when reality is, there's so many unlimited entities out there on the other side, and things that we haven't even seen yet, or even touched or scratched the surface, so to speak.
Yeah. There's a hierarchy,
Yeah.
until you get up to demon, and then you get to the fallen, which, if you're human, I do have someone that I totally respect, but she was like, "Oh yeah, I could take care of a fallen angel or whatever." I'm like, "No." It's my opinion strongly that a human can't take care of a fallen. They're the ones that are dealing with the archangels, and so you wouldn't want to do that. I don't think that we could, do much, but just kind of maybe piss them off a lot. So you wouldn't want to do that, and you have to let that, the angel realm take care of something like that. But we have people faced with demons. I have a friend who will never come on our show, I'll tell you that. She was born with a veil, so she told me these incredible experiences when she was little of seeing dead people, and but nonetheless, what has come out, and someday I've told her story before. I don't know on this show. I'll tell it someday. But she can see the demons, and just like they'll be driving a car and everything, like we will see people, she sees demons. And this is part of what's in the Bible in Corinthians, Second Corinthians, is that God gives gifts, and one is discernment of the spirits. That means I can see the spirits, that I can see the demon, and I can see people, I can tell who they are. And she's, totally where she doesn't make any eye contact and looks away. She doesn't want to be involved, and that's good, because that can be really dangerous, super dangerous, to have them, get a hold of you. Nonetheless, being able to recognize a lot of them and have them after you. She did call me one day because she saw one driving and looking down my road and driving past, and she happened to be driving the other way. And she says, "I just want to let you know that, you might be being how they would not recognize, but feel that there's some power over there." And she said, "They're looking down your road, and I just want you to be careful." So, as I tell people, when you do magic or you work with the energy, you are being obvious, and you have to stay under the radar for demons. You have to stay under the radar. And if you choose to go fight them or anything, or to practice big magic or whatever, yeah, they're going to see you, and they're going to try to say, "Oh, well, we'd like to have that person on our side," or "That person is challenging us. Let's go after that person." And so I stay under the radar. So, the Sleeping Beauty Disney version, where they're doing the magic with the wands, and they're changing the color of the dress. You know that, Jackie? It's
Yeah.
blue, it's pink, it's blue, it's pink. And so tell everybody, think of that fight with the magic, and the magic went up the chimney, and guess what? Evil saw it. There was the messenger, right? The raven who saw it and took it back to the witch. So you have to be careful what you're doing. And you know what? Let's have a show at some point about magic and doing magic, and Wiccan things and stuff like that. Okay, I think that would be a good thing.
Yeah.
Because there's just so much to that. There's being like a white witch, or and of course there's also pagan, and I have a good friend that's a pagan that I'll have her on the show. And there's the gray area, and then there's the dark area. So we'll talk about all that. That'll be a super good show. I got a couple people that'll come in on that show too. And so anyway, as far as our book goes, it's going to be a good read, and lots of good stories. And I don't want to give anything else away, though.
Yeah.
For sure. So let's switch now to what I have here. I finally got a package together. I have a client from about a week ago that is experiencing like extreme things in the home and wherever she goes. And she so we talked about attachment. We feel like that was taken care of with some other person that helped her out, but still having things happen in the energy, and feeling like she is treated differently. So I've been working with her. So I just put a package together with wild rue seeds. So if you guys have an international market around, do you guys have one? International market?
I know we have a ton here in Georgia.
Okay. What about you in Montana?
We have World Market, but I'm not sure if it would have anything like that.
No, you need an international grocery market. Okay.
No.
So, you can buy this stuff online too. And I get a lot of stuff from Etsy, and totally, try to get you some brimstone, sulfur for you. And the lady sent it all in one package instead of separate. So I still have to order that for you, Andy. And like I have mugwort here. A friend of mine said she needed mugwort, and this is organic mugwort. It's so inexpensive, you guys, to go to Etsy. It's like $1 something to get you a package of something. Of course, you have to pay shipping, so buy enough stuff. But anyway, I have here wild rue, RUE seeds, which is like a Persian spice that you can burn like sage. We're so used to using sage, right, you guys? It's always like everybody sees everybody with the stick, and we're doing the sage. But wild rue is just as good as sage. It's really good. You can use sage on those scrabblies and those gumbies. They'll just go away. They just dissipate. As long as it's a small gumby, it'll go. So the wild rue, you can, it's like seeds. So you have to put it in like a little foil pouch or something. You light it, and it's very good. And so I'm sending her, I went out and I got her whole thing of it, sending her a St. Benedict medal, because we know that is used in exorcisms. And on some minute candles. So I consecrate little candles for the purposes of different things in their different colors. So I'm just sending her all purpose for God's work, and she can light that with an affirmation. Whenever you guys, do any work that you light a candle, do an affirmation for that candle. If it was for love or for money, if you were making an altar, or if you're going to set protection in your home or wherever, and you're lighting a candle or smudging, you're setting an affirmation, which, is like a quartz crystal. It amplifies the power of that object that you're using, the smoke or the flame. And so just say an affirmation. It can be a prayer, or you can just make something up. So you can do that. Just dawned on me that I don't have my new camera plugged in. I'm looking at the light's not on again. I didn't even play that. I have to take more time. I'm bad. I have to take more time. I'm probably grainy. That's probably good for the wrinkles. I got to put a post-it note up that says, do this. So I'm going to get this off in the mail to her. And when we clear houses, I always make a kit up, the holy water and all that, and leave it for the people because they have to keep their area, once it's warded, cleared, and then warded. Two different things, guys. You clear everything out. To ward it is to protect it. It's like making it a fortress. And then you have to clear it every week. You have to make sure that that stays in place. The other day I looked and someone had picked up all my rocks in the corners of my house and they were piled on the fireplace. And I'm like, oh, those were my wards. So I have a big thing of warding my house probably tomorrow. We'll talk about that when we do protection. We'll talk about Wiccan stuff, and that'll be one of the things. But
And the main thing with that too, I've found is, if people want that protection, and then they don't, I don't know, they don't often follow through with the suggestions afterwards.
Correct. They think that they've cleared their space, it's good, or they haven't cleared it good enough. People, are getting more and more into the metaphysical stuff, and they think, okay, I'll sage, we're good. There's more you can do. In my book, Protective Magic, I tell you all the different things you can do. But yeah, they may have somebody come in and they think it's fine, but guys, it depends on the experience of the person that's clearing. They may not totally clear everything. But say you clear your house and you've got teenagers and they come in with some friends that maybe have an attachment or they're doing some bad stuff, and in comes some negative stuff into your house. So you might have to clear after people come in, but totally once a week you can clear, but you have to set your wards, and that's a little bit different thing. That's where you're using the energy and you are making an energy field around your home, under your home, and around your yard, everything. And so you're right, Andy. People just like do it once and then they wonder why, the energy's bad, or cupboard doors are opening, or they're back. Well, you didn't keep them out. That's the thing. Yeah. So anyway, I want to tell everybody that we're hoping that Vicki McDonald from what is her her fan page? Do you know? You'll find out.
Yeah.
Medium, something like that. She is a really good medium, and she should be on Friday's show on Facebook, and that's Psychic Fix's fan page on Facebook. And that's going to be really exciting to have her on, because we will do some readings. I think we'll probably dedicate like half the show to doing the readings, because we'll have her, and it's such an opportunity for everybody to ask her some questions, because I'm somebody that doesn't, get readings. I manifest all the time. So I'm changing my path as I go anyway, but I don't tend to ever get readings. And I happen to support her and go on to one of her live feeds. Now, she goes live like twice a week or more, and maybe even every day if she's not doing anything, and she does readings. And so I wanted to support her in it and just be there for the live reading and be counted, when all of a sudden she gave me a message and brought in my brother that passed away a few months ago. And it was validated, absolutely, that was him. She could have never known that. And so she's really good. And she can bring them in, and she can get their personality and everything. But she'll give you a message along with us. Andy and I do messages and readings. So that'll be super fun for Friday. I believe she's going to test her earphones, Andy, and then once that's tested, she's a go for Friday.
Oh, perfect.
That's going to be great.
Yeah. And her Facebook group is Experience with Haunted and Medium Reading. And that's Vicki McDonald. So just search for that on Facebook and then click join. And she's got a lot of followers on there. So
yeah,
very good.
Yeah, that's going to be exciting. So we'll hope for that. And I haven't heard that Janine has. Would you get a message or a notification if she got in the lobby?
Let's take a look. Yeah.
Oh, she's sitting there. That'd be awful. But we'll just take a look. Let me see if I heard anything from her.
Yeah, because I know when you joined Aunt Debbie, it said, Debbie's joining live, or, joining the lounge now.
Okay.
Before you came on.
Okay.
Because I know when Andy got on, I was already here.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that she'll come in at least for the last half here and we can have some fun. But she's she has a lot of experience with the investigations in the equipment and I've done a lot of we call it spirit circle here, where we just get together and we just practice, or we'll do one and we invite the public to come, and that's when we do psychometry. The people give us a picture, but she'll get names and she'll we validate each other. It's great. I went to one and I was in the elevator and got out. I see spirits when I want to. I'm lucky that way. And so they were talking about the man in the elevator and I said, excuse me. And I went out of the room in the building to the elevator and got on and saw the guy and talked to him and all that. Then I came back and sat down. I said, okay, I'll go. And they hadn't said anything about him. I said, I want to tell you about the guy in the elevator. And I said, exactly. He's this tall. He's kind of hunchback. He's got glasses, everything about him. And she goes, that's exactly what he looks like. And then we talked about why he's there, because he's earthbound. He's comfortable, but on one floor. And he likes to hang out in the elevator, but he just wants one floor. And that was interesting. So we talked a little bit about him. So we got to validate ourselves on a lot of the cases. So, and that's always good to have somebody who can see that also. So she's got a lot of good stories, and she's really good at, seeing the spirits and talking to them and everything. So we hope that she can come in, and she's part of a group. She has a group also, and they do the cemetery walks and things like that. But she's also part of my group called the Dead Talk, and we go out and clear homes. We go out to far away places and look at things and do investigations. And we help a lot of people that are experiencing things that they don't want in their house. And so it's really amazing to go in with these talented people, and all of a sudden, we all know the names of the people there and exactly what the people were like and the description of what they look like and all of that. And it validates that to the family as well. And then we can, if they want it cleared, that's fine. But a lot of times they don't want things cleared. One of the houses, Andy, that we just went into a couple years ago, I got sent a picture. So I was so busy doing readings that I didn't get to go upstairs, and everybody found a vortex in one of the bedrooms. And so I didn't get to feel that energy or anything because I was too busy. And so anyway, fast forward now, they sent me a picture of the mom she was all purple, that something grabbed her and literally threw her across the bathroom and into a dresser that the strong kids couldn't push, and it got moved.
Mm.
So she got all bruised, and she said something grabbed me. I didn't. She said she didn't slip and fall or any of that. Something grabbed her and threw her. So I just put it out there. Do you guys want us to come in? Because they can't have that in the house. And she sure, she knows what it is. So anyway, we will see if I have that opportunity to go back into that house, because we're going to have to close that vortex. And they found it. It's kind of neat. Like one time I went in with Lena, and we will have Lena on when she gets back from New York. And Lena's a medium and an investigator also. And we went into this old historic building after hours, only 2 docents and us. I went in first with the 2 docents, and I went through and told them exactly who was there, what entities, and exactly where they were. Then I was quiet, and Lena came in. She went through it with them, and exactly this. She said this is the woman, this is the man, and the same places I got, she got. So that's a really good thing to show validation
Wow.
when you're
Yeah.
doing investigations.
Mhm.
You don't all go in and say this is what we have. But when we go back to that house, we're going to have to get some angelic help, as well as like the wild rue seeds and stuff, and we're going to have to seal up the vortex. And a lot of times when you have vortexes, you have to be careful. Because some of the mediums will see there's like hands, trying to grab out. So if they say it's a vortex, I'm like, okay, back it up. I'm going to stay away a little bit because I don't know what is there, and I don't want to get scratched or anything like that. So, we have a lot of experiences and a lot to come. I can't wait till October, and I'm hoping that you will that you can go ahead and come out and be with us. Andy, do you need a link or something?
Yeah, I gave her a link, and I also emailed it to her. So I don't know if it's her Wi-Fi or if she just can't connect on her data.
Okay. She was in
Yeah.
traffic, so we'll
Okay.
see what's going.
I on the lines of the vortexes or portals, or I went into a client's home or a friend's home, and literally he explained to me that there was something in this guest bedroom. There's always been something weird. There's always something just unusual down in the basement. And this is before I cleared homes. I don't think I even cleared a home at that time. And when I went in and I described to him, I said, it looks like a little girl. It disguises itself as a little girl. And the closest description I have is the Grudge that climbs out of the TV. And it was the entity. I don't want to say she because it's not a human. It's not a human being. Um, but it disguised itself as a little girl, and it had the black hair, pure white face, jet black eyes, and it was standing next to the closet. And I said, "This thing pushed you back on the bed because you were sitting there, because I'm seeing that happen." And he said, "That's exactly what happened." And then apparently there's been suicides in that room, from what I was validated after the fact. And then downstairs I was seeing a shotgun and chains and stuff. I mean, it was pretty gory, and I think somebody was locked up downstairs as well. But I
Yeah.
said, you need to get out of there. This house is.
Probably there's some houses that you cannot clear, guys. I think there's a lot of mediums that will just say, move, get out of here, don't come back. I feel bad for the people that are stuck with mortgages and stuff and they can't move. And then they're in peril. They're the ones that are on TV because, all this stuff is happening. When you have something that is so traumatic that happens in places, I mean, really, to me, it's like eventually it'd be great if it was burned. I don't know if you saw the news. I'm just going to bring it up. But those poor kids in out of state, where were they at? Washington or I don't know. There's these like 9 kids that were tortured, waterboarded and shot with a bow and BB gun and all this stuff. It's just coming out. They just arrested the parents.
Yes.
Look at that house. That house is going to need to be burned because that energy is going to attract some stuff to it if it hasn't already. Because I'm sure those parents have attachments and stuff going on and some really dark stuff around them. And I'm like, those kids got to never, ever, if there's justice in the world, those kids have to be in a loving home and get therapy and never go back there and never see those parents again. They need to be taken away forever. That was awful. So you never know. I think in real estate now they have to disclose some things, the hauntings and things like that with houses. But my goodness, these crimes are horrible, and you know that there's dark stuff in there, and the people move in, and here we go. Just like when they were, decide that they're going to put the house over an Indian burial ground or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I mean, yeah, that's beyond. And so I saw that and I feel for the kids and, pray for them and all of that. But I'm like, that house, boy, nobody ever better live in it.
Mm-hmm.
They
Yeah.
better never, ever live in that.
It's almost like what is that movie? Amityville House?
Yeah.
Oh, Amityville Horror.
Yes.
Yeah, with the DeFeo family in Long Island. Yeah.
Yeah, because
Well, you know that story, Andy. You're very much researched like the Warren family, right?
Right.
And and is she still doing any of that stuff, or
No, I think she's retired probably within the last 8 to 10 years. And she was on some it's not Ghost Adventures, it was a Paranormal State. So she was on that show and helped the guy out with that. But she's retired since, so.
That's got one of the ex crew members from Ghost Adventures, though. Nick Groff or whatever is his name, because that's his show now. Yeah.
I don't watch any of that stuff.
I stopped watching it, which is weird, but I think it's because some of it I'm not sure if it's fully real or if they're being over dramatic.
I'm not going to name names. Let's not name shows, but I happen to know someone who is very close to one show that's very, very popular, and the running thing is that things are made to look dramatic, so it's kind of faked. And like Andy, you and me, we're like so not into any of that stuff. I'm on a couple of Facebook pages because I'm curious, but I'm ready to get off of some of the things where they're showing these out and out faked videos. Yeah. I can't stand that because people are posting like they think it's real, and I'm like, this has already been debunked, or you can clearly see that's not real, because it just feeds it makes fodder for the people that are skeptics or against it and saying, see, it's not real, and we know that there's real stuff out there. And so I go, I tend not to want to be involved in any of that stuff, but I watched Ghost Hunters and I thought it was interesting because that to me was the first show like that I've ever seen. But more and more was kind of, to me, a little less stuff happening. Mm-hmm. And then the other ones, I just am so busy, I don't get into that stuff. But if I watch something, the guys would be, like I said, screaming and running from something. And I'm like, Why are you there? You're there to investigate it. You would never run from something. You'd run to it. And you would have the cameras going,
Right.
and I really feel they need to do that. So, what do? They are sorry about the dinging. I've got some stuff that comes in and gives me some messages. Like
Yeah.
Vicky is she's ready for Friday, Vicky says. She wants to know what time, so I will send that to her when we're finished.
Yeah.
She's so excited about being on our show. I'm excited too.
Me too.
She's so cute when she does the little, what is this thing where you could put a cat face on you? I want to do that. She has the ears and the nose and the whiskers.
Yeah.
A filter? Is it a
I guess
filter?
so. I don't know any of that stuff. And I thought she was like on a, some kind of a app on her phone, but she's on her laptop, so I don't know how she does it. But as she goes, it goes with her and their ears move, and she is always having fun. Tell about the Mickey Mouse room.
Oh yeah, she's got a Mickey Mouse mouse pad. She's got a Mickey. I think it's a computer behind her, and it's got Mickey Mouse ears for speakers.
I think it's at a TV, maybe,
or a TV. Yeah.
The curtains. She's got everything else everywhere.
Yeah.
She's so cute. She's a lot of fun, and she's so gifted. She had a near-death experience, and then it all came. That's kind of, with me, I knew stuff all my life. I knew it was going to happen. And I could feel energy, force fields, and all of that. And I was very lucky. But it wasn't until the near-death experience when it all, everything came in words and movies and everything, and then it was like, all right, and it keeps coming, guys. So with her, she also had a near-death experience, and let's ask her about that Friday too. A little bit about, can you tell us how it started, and but the one thing about Vicky is that she invites all the stuff in. So I worry about that. I worry about her not being protected by, making sure they're knowing how to clear and get them out and make sure they go away. You can invite stuff in, but you need to tell them to be ushered out. You don't want to keep them there. And, we do that, like before we do most anything, we do a little protection thing, because we want the good stuff to come in. We can get confused people in this. We don't need angry or anything like that, because when I was at the cemetery, we got an angry one that pushed somebody almost down. And so we don't want any of that to come in. You have to protect the people that are there. And then we do an invitation of spirits. And at some point when we're talking about doing a seance, I'll go ahead and why don't we do a seance one time? Andy will do a seance online. And we were streaming you were on one of them, Andy, our seances. So we should do that. And so, yeah. And I'll tell everybody how to do a seance, an invitation of spirits. So you're inviting them in, but you have rules, right? Ground rules. And then you do the seance. And then afterwards, that's when hey, you can't go with anybody, no hitchhikers, you go on your way, and you need to ask Archangel Michael, come and usher them all out. Then I would also ward my house again or clear it, just to make sure nobody's there. Sometimes, when I have a meetup going on, there'll be some mediums there, and then they'll just go like this, and there'll be like, a young kid or a teenager or somebody just walked into your door and went in that other room. I'm like, well, I opened the house up, and got to just make sure that they're, gone afterwards. Because when you're doing a gallery reading, which is like my favorite thing to do, guys, I love doing gallery readings. And Lena and I are like the best together. We're the best. I mean, you guys wouldn't see it, but we'll take a break really fast. We'll walk into the other room and we high five each other. We got this. And then we go back in. It's so amazing for us to get to really validate everybody there, everybody, and we read everybody, and it's just like so fun. But we're inviting people that are attached to each person that's in the gallery reading.
Mhm.
So, I'm doing this one's a grandfather and this one's whatever. And like I said, the my most famous one will always be the man that rode in on the motorcycle and went around his sister and came right up to me in a leather jacket in the 1950s. And of course, she showed me, I did the reading, and then she showed me the picture. And I said, that's him, but it can't be, it can't be your brother because you're not old enough for him to be, that age in the 1950s. And that's when she said he had affinity for the 1950s. And matter of fact, he was killed on his motorcycle.
Oh.
And I said, no wonder he wrote it literally into the room and right up to me, right around her. That's how I knew it was her. Yeah, we'll do it. We'll do a online. We'll do a séance, and we'll do candlelight. We'll bring the lights down, and we should probably do that on a Friday, to where we have more of a live audience that we could read for.
Right.
And I could say I've got, a grandmother here, and this is what she looks like, and she's showing me, a piece of jewelry, and describe that, and then they'll come in and they'll say that one's for me, and then we could do messages. Now I'm all excited about that.
Yeah, that one that you invited me to online. What was that? About a year ago, I think. The client that was there, I remember getting the Navy or some sort of. I did get validated about the father figure that came through. Yeah, that was pretty. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, you never know what's going to happen. One thing that happened at one of the seances is I had a woman there, so we always had to try to have 1 to 2 clients, and then what our thing is, we have anywhere from 4 to 6 mediums read one person.
Mhm.
This is unlike anything here in America. Yeah, I hear my friend tell me they do it in the UK, but it's not one medium. You get all this information because you have all these mediums that read for you. And so I had this one lady, and I'm always, since I'm kind of the lead person, I always go first and go ahead
Mhm.
and do the reading and kind of break the icebreaker. And I looked and I go, oh my goodness, I just had to say it. I'm in with a bunch of people, and it's televised, and with these other mediums, and here are these people, and I have to say to her, and of course they've signed releases and they're okay with what we say. And I had to say, your father was mentally ill. And I went and said he was brokenhearted, and then of course divorced, and that was really took a toll. But I said, I get major depression and mental illness. I said, fostered into something bigger and bigger. And I went on, and here I'm, this is my life. I say these things, and you have to go out on a limb as a
Mhm.
medium and a psychic. It's just the way it is, and you just say it. And when I was finished, and the other people brought forward their stuff, she said, "Yes, indeed, my father was mentally ill. It broke his heart to get a divorce, and it went into depression. And his depression manifested into greater things, the OCD and agoraphobia." Agoraphobia and all this stuff came out. And then, but I got to connect with him and say how he was and how he felt from the other side. So that gave closure to the family member. But yeah, that was like, oh my goodness. I was like, yeah, uh, I had to say it. Very
Right.
mentally ill. But that's, part of what we're there for, is for a lot of things, Andy. We're there for to help the people, to get closure, to answer their questions, to really connect to the other side. We're also there in a lot of circumstances for entertainment. So if we're doing a seance, it's usually for entertainment, especially if it's at Halloween. We're entertaining. Our ghost tours are entertainment. So we do have that part, but believe me, guys, Andy and I and Jackie and the people that we bring on are totally serious about what we do and getting the right answers for you. And we're all about validation. And Andy is growing more and more. And like me too, I keep getting different things that come in and different gifts. And Andy now is just amazing me and blowing me away with getting the names. But okay, before we go, we have to talk about this deja vu crazy stuff that's going on with us, Andy.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So the Willie's Jeep thing was my crazy thing where I was watching Pawn Stars and it was just going. It was just on the TV. And I started daydreaming and remembering that my ex-husband had a Willie's Jeep and he's now passed away. And I go, I wish I had that Willie's Jeep because I would drive it. I saw myself like driving it to the Pawn Stars and parking in the parking lot and walking in. And somebody yells, even if they have to do it on a loudspeaker, who has a Willie's Jeep out there? Or they want to sell it. And I would say, no, I saw this. And then I go, oh, what am I thinking of? That's so weird. And I'm watching the show right when Rick goes, okay, so today I'm going out because this guy wants me to look at his Willie's Jeep to buy. And I was like, I just went, are you kidding? Did he just say that word? So I find that this has happened a couple more times since that the other day. And just something happened with us, didn't it, Andy?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to tell everybody?
Well, I know previously we were just talking about your number 909, and I'm like, that's weird. My time, you had sent me a message at 909, and we had just discussed this. And then we've had a couple other things too. Oh, tonight we were talking about a person, and
we can say the first name. It's fine.
Yeah,
James.
James. Yeah, and Debbie had mentioned James knows his stuff about clearing and all of that. Mm-hmm. That very moment, one of my clients named James messaged me, and he's had experiences, his own stuff, but it was exactly at the right time. It's just it's been happening quite a bit.
The thing about the 909, so I was talking and we went into that, but I was talking and just saying, oh, it's 808. It's not 909. And that's when you looked and you go, it's 909 where I live. I was like, oh my gosh. But there's been a lot of this crazy little names and then somebody will message me with the same name or somebody will say the name. And I just sit there and I go, all of a sudden there's just like this little spurt of that deja vu stuff happening. Or it's not even that. I don't know what it is, but it's like the universe is like doing something. So I'm like, wow, this is really neat, but it's just really weird. It's just making us, kind of acknowledge it. And because we have to see the signs, guys, everybody out there, you literally have to see the sign. And it can be in a song title. It can be an announcement over a loudspeaker. It can actually be a sign. So many people that my friends will tell me always, I ask God for a sign or whatever. And then they're literally like driving and there's a billboard that said, God says yes or whatever. And I'm like, you guys have to look at that kind of stuff and realize that they really are signs, right?
Yeah. I had one which was, I knew the guy that had passed away, and it was a friend of mine, her ex-husband. And for some reason, the song Delta Dawn popped in my head because I remember her singing it at work as a joke. And I'm like, you're too young to know that song. And I think it's from the 70s. Anyways, I posted on her page. I'm like, Delta Dawn, and singing it. And I think it was that song or it was something else, but that happened to be her ex's, the guy that passed away, his birthday that day. And that, I think it was that song I shared. It was really strange. I'm like, why am I even I haven't even thought about her in so long. I must have seen her post somewhere. But
Yeah, that stuff happens, especially if you're talking to friends or whatever, and or anybody, and then something just comes into your mind and you just say it and they go, "Why did you say that?" Like,
yeah,
well, I don't know. And they'll just say, because that was, that has a meaning to me, or that was sung, whatever. It was, it's that connection. We're like, so I guess when we die, we're going to find out the connection. But if
yeah,
the veil can get a lot thinner and the other side can talk to us, then we'll find out a lot more. And I wonder about that. We need to talk about it sometime, because there's this woman that I met, and she works for the biggest company in the world, and she's a genius. I can't say what it is. I better not, because she's only one of a handful of people that does what she does in the world, and she goes all over the world and does it. So I'm reading more cryptic. She's very, very intelligent, and she knows a way to build something so that we do cross the veil, and she's going to do it. And then what happens? Are they going to be under rules like, okay, here they come. They built the thing, so they're coming over. So we can't tell them everything, or we can tell them everything. What's going to happen? Is there going to be ethics? It's like the internet. No rules came with the internet, no ethics, nothing. The internet opened up and it needed to have some kind of, policing. It does. The stuff that's on
right,
there. And so here we go. What if they open up the veil and then there's no, like, well, didn't you guys make the rules? You didn't make the rules? Oh, wait, there's nothing here that tells us how to
right.
handle this.
It kind of reminds me of the universal laws. Like the law of cause and effect, the law of repulsion, the law of gravity, the law of, it's like, does it?
In a natural law,
Yeah,
I don't know. Hopefully there's God, and God will say, this is it. Here's my tablet of stuff. But it'll be very interesting if the people can come in and just converse. Now I had a voice talk to me when I was quite young, and I really feel like those preteens and teenage years are very receptacle to that kind of stuff. And it was as clear as that as we're talking right now. And so I go, wow, what if we can go in and just, hi, Spirit Andy, how are you today? What's going to happen in the future? Or can you tell me a little bit about heaven? I don't know. But then again, there's like, does God really want that veil to open? Because, we're supposed to be here making, experiencing stuff. And if we find everything out, how screwed up is that going to make things? I don't know.
that's interesting. You brought that up. I watched. Somebody posted a video, and of course, this is their opinion. But I thought it was an interesting topic, and it was like, why don't we remember our past lives? And what her take on it was that it's we need to focus on our current life now. It would be just too traumatic for us to remember every past life, and we wouldn't be focusing on our current life.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That makes sense. That makes sense. And but we do remember, and we do, some of us do, and or we're told what it is. And but for me it's more therapeutic. So when I'm doing a past
right.
life for someone, I can tell them, this is what I feel and this is how you died. And we talked about this before, about having this residual illnesses and birthmarks and stuff from how we died in a previous life. So we want to make sure that we get rid of that stuff so we can be healthy and not carry on an illness or anything, into the future. But I was just, me and researching, since I'm retired librarian, I was researching and saw there's a little study that was done about like the memory of DNA in the DNA, and that some of these memories they believe can be carried on through DNA to, from ancestors to us. And that thus if we have children, that's going to carry on also. So it's like, wow, I can't wait to hear more about this. That's amazing. And they got stuff like they're putting this stuff on the brain, and they're actually like seeing people's dreams, stuff like that,
Right.
crazy stuff like this. And I'm like, holy cow. Of course, I pulled people on the website. They go, we don't want anybody looking at our dreams. I can't remember mine, but it'd be kind of cool to get up in the morning and just like, go, oh, turn on the thing. And that was on my head, and I can watch what I thought of.
Press play and
There.
goes
Delete. Delete. Destroy. Doing the Will Robinson thing. Yeah, no, I think that it might help a lot of people, especially maybe people that are going through depression or emotional things or mental illness. Maybe that's a tool for a therapist or something. But when we get into the stuff, it gets like Frankenstein. What do you think, Jackie?
I like you. I believe like it might be helpful in some cases, but I feel like if people take advantage of it, it might not be. And I think that's what it is. It's who's going to take advantage of it and who's going to do something illegal with it. And then you're like, well, what if it does help somebody who does have like Alzheimer's and they dream about their life that they can't remember, and hey, we can push play on this, and they watch it and they're seeing themselves, and it might get the brain going again, for 5 minutes. And it's like that family 5 minutes has that person back.
Well, didn't they do a study on music and something about music, and that brought them back to, or singing?
Yeah.
Saying would bring them back.
It's like singing or hearing music or like an instrument or something that they grew up with or that they may know, which is really funny because Disney kind of did a movie like that was all based on music and remembering.
Well, you know what they say about Disney sometimes. How warped it really, when you look at the endings and the scary stuff, like you go, it was, this really was for kids. Not until, I had a son and, and it came to Disney, did I really go, I'm not showing him Bambi and Snow White. And I think one of the scariest ones was Snow White. Which is the scary? Okay, here's a poll. What's the scariest Disney movie for you guys?
I don't know.
Come on, you can think on your feet. Let's think. What do they have? Well, Snow White was pretty scary.
It's
traumatic.
Yeah, it's traumatic.
Bambi was horrible.
Bambi was depressing.
Horrible. What were they thinking?
I think the one movie I don't think I can watch by Disney though is Dumbo.
Oh no, that was horrible.
That one was horrible. I feel like that one was pretty bad.
Yeah, I was like, oh gosh, date me, guys. I was not that old. I mean, I was very, very, very young.
And like
when Dumbo came out, and then it's like, what do you mean his parents died or his mommy died? What do you mean?
Yeah,
that was horrible. Or look at Pinocchio. I don't know. Did they do Pinocchio too? Yes.
Yes.
Look at that, was warped. Come on, guys.
The Lion King was pretty depressing the first like 40 minutes of the beginning.
I've never seen it.
Oh, well then don't watch it.
But what's bizarre? That carnival part. The carnival part of Pinocchio.
Well,
that is bizarre.
Well, they have a like a circus part like that where it's very like, I hate to say this, but it looks like the animators were like on a big acid trip or something in Dumbo. And it's so funny because I think it was my mom that was like, I can't ever watch that scene because that scene creeps me out.
Oh, I can't watch. I'm not going to watch Dumbo or any of them, really. But I think
No.
the serious one to me was the witch with the apple, the poison apple. Still, even at Disneyland, I go through the ride pretty good, but I know she's coming. I don't need her going, wow, here is the apple. But yeah, you're right. The Disney stuff was, pretty kind
But
of
they're
strange.
getting better at making more meaningful movies that aren't like super crazy like that,
Oh yeah, yeah. I
So,
think things really changed and are better. Absolutely. I mean, I would be very disappointed if they made a children's, it's an animated film and it's very traumatic for these kids. I mean, growing up, I remember all my friends just being traumatized by, the fire in Bambi,
hmm
and that outcome, and that was really sad for them. So, hopefully things are better in the movies nowadays. And I think probably let's go with favorite movie all time. I'm going to start. My favorite movie all time is Goonies.
I love that movie.
Okay, you want to know something really dumb?
of
I was
course.
like, I love Goonies. I saw it. It's wonderful. And I thought, oh, who's going to watch this? I think it's so great, but I really thought nobody was going to see it or anything. But I thought it was great. And then to find out it's so big and down here at Comic-Con, we're so lucky, you guys, where every year Sean Astin or somebody's here, but they got together and they have a let's call it a pop-up thing, and they invite everybody local and we can go down to the beach. They have a large screen and they watch Goonies with us. Now, guys, we're so lucky here.
Yeah.
It's really, really great. But there's one other thing that I thought wouldn't go. I saw a TV show that I thought was so over everybody but so got me, but so over everybody that it would be not popular and it would be dropped. And I thought I saw it the first time and I go, how do I start a campaign? I'm going to write to the network and say, this is a fantastic TV series. Please keep it. Don't get rid of it because I know that's where it's got to go. But please, please keep it on because I thought, gee, people aren't going to get this. The name of that show is called The Big Bang Theory. Talk
Mm.
Yeah,
about how
huge.
dumb. I go, it's so popular and everything. But the first time I saw it, I thought, oh my gosh, it's so out there.
That's
It's
like
thoroughly my show, but would it be anybody else's? And of course, then I didn't know until who is Sheldon. I don't know.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
You know his
I got,
name?
yeah. I don't watch it, but I
Jim
got this.
Parsons.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was on getting an award, like an Emmy or something.
hmm
When I saw that, I went, um, oh, I guess it's popular. I had no clue. I was in my own world there.
They're some of the highest paid TV actors.
Oh,
Are
yeah.
all those guys, and that show is always number one
It's
or
so great.
number two
So,
for ratings every week.
well, what's
It's
your guys'
ridiculous.
favorite movie? What's your favorite movie?
I feel like that's such a hard question because I
Well,
like
what
so
about,
many movies.
okay, fantasy or horror sci-fi?
Horror movie for me would be Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh, gosh,
That's a
I've
good
never
one.
seen it.
I
Hmm.
love Freddy Krueger.
I know the character, but I've never seen the shows. And Halloween, I didn't either. Jackie, what? Come on, sci-fi.
Okay, mine's gonna be animated though, but I'm obsessed with this movie. I can watch it over and over and over again. Nightmare Before Christmas.
That's
Oh, I haven't
the
seen that one
one
either.
that creeped me out. I was gonna say it's
I
not Disney, but that one creeped me out as a
see.
kid.
I'm a huge Tim Burton fan, so I
But
really
yes, I
like
love
all
him.
his movies. He's the guy that does all the Allison, through the Looking Glass, Allison in
Hmm.
Wonderland, and
Beetlejuice,
oh
Edward
yeah,
Scissorhands,
Edward
Oh,
uh,
Scissorhands.
wasn't
Yeah,
that good?
Pee
Edward's.
Wee's Big Adventure.
yes, he's done so many
I love,
movies,
yeah.
and Night Before Christmas is one of my favorites. I have figurines that I got for Christmas, and they're in my bookcase, and it's Jack and Sally, and I'm obsessed with that movie.
That's
Like, and
Jack Skellington.
yeah.
Okay, because I went to Disneyland at Halloween a couple years ago, and there was the best actor doing him. I mean,
Hmm.
I was looking around this guy because he was like this big, and I was like, how can you be this big? And of course, they had him very tall, and I don't know where his face was, but I had a little crown on my head because everybody was, dressed up. So I went in and bought a little crown and whatever. And so I went there, and he was this tall, super thin guy in character all the time with a great accent. And he just went like this, and he went over and he bowed to your majesty. And that was
Oh,
really cute, but I never watched the show, so I'm just like, oh well,
Yeah, the
I need
movie
to.
it's so good, and I think here in Atlanta during Christmas, they actually have a big show with like the orchestra here, and it's called Night Before Christmas. And I wanted to go see it last year, and tickets were sold out like a whole year before it even happened. So,
Oh wow, you got to do it early, write it on the calendar. Well, you
they're already.
guys, we are um we are at that time now. Have we made all our announcements? Friday at 6:30 Pacific, um, and
Vicky.
7:30 Mountain. Vicki McDonald should be with us on Facebook / Psychic Fixes, and we'll
Hmm.
just come on live. And this is a fun one where we always give away a prize, and we do readings for everybody.
We read your
So
comments too.
yeah. And yeah, live comments, and we'll answer your questions. So hope to see you then. What else do we have?
yeah.
Well, the party. Tell about the party.
Yep, we have a Facebook Live party, and I think we decided June 1st on a Friday. So we'll
Yes.
have a book party, and everybody that's joining. I know we're gonna have balloons, and we're gonna have our food, our favorite food, and showing our
Dress
book
up. We got to dress up.
and
We got to
dress up. Yeah.
to celebrate our the launch of our book, and I should have copies hopefully this week, and you will get your copies. If not, I'll 2-day it over to you, overnight one to you, and we'll have the books, and we will celebrate, and we'll do some giveaways and stuff too. It's gonna be fun. And
Cake.
what are you
Yeah.
gonna have, Jackie? I don't like cake at all. I've never liked cake or pastries all my life. So you guys, I'm going to be eating ice cream.
I'm okay with that. You can have an ice cream cake.
What are you gonna eat? You have to get your own dessert,
We actually have this it's a grocery store here. It's called Publix, and they actually make their pastries fresh every day. So I'm gonna go get a
Mm.
little, like, I like to call it like a 4-person cake. It's not huge, but it's cute and tiny, and just enough
Over
to
here,
have.
if somebody in my household gets a 4-person cake, really is a 1-person cake. So,
Or I
what are
might
you gonna?
just bake my cake. Who knows?
Well, we're gonna have a lot of fun. Maybe we'll have some surprises. We'll have giveaways, and just celebrate. This is my 4th book, and Andy's second book, right, Andy?
Right. Yep.
We have more in the mix now. We have a lot of stuff, projects up our sleeves right now,
Hmm.
and I can't wait. I can't wait. I just want to get the book thing, going, and then really start on some of the other projects that we have, and it may take us longer to do this. One of the books that I think we have planned. and it
Mhm.
may take I hate to say months and months, but it may take months. My next book is already in Crate Space, and I've got some more writing to do on that. So it's just finding the time. Right now, I'm going to finish the week up with missing persons and then go on to a homicide case. We were offered a homicide case in Australia. It's very interesting. I'm not going to go into it, but my feeling is that I don't want to go forward with it. We'll discuss that on another show when we are talking about missing persons and a little bit why. Sometimes you have feelings of things that you shouldn't get involved in, and I absolutely, along with someone else, have that feeling on it. So, anyway, I'll be doing that, but we'll be doing that show. I just Friday shows are just so much fun. I can't wait. And that's about it for me. What about you guys?
Before I forget, though, I wanted to let everybody know that our sponsor tonight is the Checkered Lily Apothecary, and by the shop owner Kimberly Boshu. And she's got amazing bath and beauty and body products. You guys wear some of her stuff, don't you?
I have some of her stuff before she got big. So she does a lot
Yeah.
of the bright colors, and she has, what is it, the mermaid line?
Oh
I
yeah, it's
think you and
all
I both said
glitter.
we really, yeah, we
Beautiful.
like it. It's very glittery. So if
But
you're
she has
looking,
a copper one, the copper glitter one. It's just beautiful. And
Oh,
she has the blues and the greens, but I have a feather floating. But she has this copper one that's great. She has a Halloween line.
yeah.
In the Salem witch trials. She has the best names. She's always been able to name stuff all of her life, and she's got the best names for her makeup. But
So
totally safe and good.
that copper line that you just mentioned, I clicked on it, and it's the seance one. Is what she called it? Yeah,
Of
yeah,
course it is.
yeah.
like,
Bam! You
we're
got it.
gonna have to do it now.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think that there is a sign there for you.
That means I
and
have to buy that and wear it on that day as
there we
well.
go. It's beautiful. Yeah, she has a Halloween line with all those type of flavor, the purples and the coppers and the dark, black and all of that. And she has a lot of people, that are out there that use her makeup, and then she gets some of the portfolio of their their eyes done. It's just really beautiful. She's also been on BuzzFeed. Yeah, she got pretty big, didn't she? And she's still growing. And I it's hard for me to get time with her and to say hello.
She's a
And
busy
so
person.
yeah, but that's all good. Businesses growing and prosperity are always good things. We want to manifest that. We truly appreciate the Checkered Lily for sponsoring our show.
Yep.
And that's a blessing. And we want them to grow and be prosperous and keep on sponsoring us. So, anyway, guys, I think it's time to say goodbye. And any last words from you guys? Everybody stay safe.
Yes. Everybody
Yeah.
stay safe.
And thank you everybody for joining in
Yes.
on this live feed. And if you're watching it, um, after the fact, after it's been posted, come back to our, please like and subscribe to our channel, share it. Greatly appreciate it.
Leave us a comment.
Yeah.
And
We
go
can read it.
to YouTube Psychic Fixes. So I'd really like to hit 1,000 subscribers this month would be really good. I'm almost there. So anyone, stay safe. If you need anything, please go to Facebook Psychic Fixes and leave us a private message. Okay. Take care, everybody, and good night. Let's go to the lobby, guys.
Okay.